Welcome to Rocky Mountain Bioproducts. We've been fixing dirt and revegetating and reclaiming soils around the world since 1987. This presentation is to cover our products, our organic fertilizers, soil amendments, and soil conditioners, working in partnership with nature. We only represent the highest quality, stable organic fertilizers and soil amendments on the market today. Our products are used for building soil health and establishing healthy plants. Our full complementary product line can work independently or in combination with one another. All these products are environmentally friendly and safe to be used in the strictest and toughest conditions. Biosol and Biosol Forte are our natural organic fertilizers. They work in partnership with nature. These products are an all-natural, plant-based organic fertilizer consisting of bacterial and fungal biomasses containing no animal waste or animal byproducts. This is actually the byproduct of the penicillin and antibiotic fermentation process, which is including fungal and bacterial biomasses. Again, all these materials have been, our Biosol and Biosol Forte have been fermented. In the case of our bacterial biomass, that's been fermented twice. So it's really a multi-nutrient soil amendment promoting soil life and soil health. Our most popular product is the Biosol Forte. Over 95% fungal and bacterial biomass. The solubility of this fertilizer is less than 0.5%. And this contains additional micronutrients with an ideal pH of about 6.8. So let's take a look at what's really inside the numbers, because all fertilizers and all those numbers aren't always the same. When we look at fertilizers, a 721 may not be the same from one product, from one 721 product to another 721 product, or a 10-10-10 to another 10-10-10 product. So we can't go by those numbers. They just don't always add up. So what really makes this product different? Well, first of all our nutrients are organically bound and stable. That comes from the fermentation process. That organic matter increases water holding capacity in the soil, minimizing soil compaction. The key with organic matter, for every 1% of organic matter, the soil can roughly hold 16,500 gallons of plant available water per acre down to 1 foot deep. That is roughly 1.5 quarts of water per cubic foot of soil for each percent of organic matter. Lastly, our Biosol has been found to build soil humus 7 times faster than natural succession does. Another key element that's within those numbers of the Biosol is our chitin content. Chitin is the exoskeleton of fungi, such as shellfish. Think of yourself as eating, peel and eat shrimp. And when you peel that shrimp, that peel is actually the chitin. So it's considered a soil amendment. A good chunk of our nitrogen is built and is fermented into that nitrogen, into that chitin source. It also has a water holding capacity, i.e. it acts as a polymer. The other big ingredient in this is our mycelium. Mycelium is the vegetative source of fungus. It's the most important part of fungus. It's naturally reoccurring in healthy soils. It enhances the relationship between plants and mycorrhiza and increases the plant's ability to take in more nutrients. The fungal biomass encourages microbes to absorb food from dead organic matter, converts hard to digest organic materials into food. And it's important to know that organic matter is different than organic material. Organic material is in a raw form, and after that has been broken down, it comes out to be organic matter. Our bacterial biomass feeds other soil microbes, enhances soil structure, and really one of the neat things about the bacterial biomass is it helps filter and break down pollutants in the soils. In fact, there, the photo on the right-hand side is bacteria living on fungi. And then our carbon content is higher than most people would think in our Biosol Forte. That carbon is the basis for soil fertility. It really is like a housing unit for microbes. As we look at this slide on the right, you see that honeycomb. That honeycomb, think of that honeycomb as like a housing unit, a hotel, an apartment building, whatever you want to call it, for the soil microbes to live and thrive and replenish. And that's promoting soil structure, biological and physical health of the soil. Again, this is increasing the cation exchange capacity in the soils. So the benefits of our Biosol really provides a long-term nutrient source that's due to that chitin content, that hard substance. And we know that after 1 year, our nutrients are still releasing at about 0.3% a month. It changes soil and improves soil structure. It retains moisture, stimulating and feeds microbial life. The one thing this does not do is it does not promote a quick green up. However, it is a long-lasting, stable organic nutrient source. In 1998, University of California at Davis did a study in conjunction with the Federal Highway Department and Caltrans. And in that study, they tested every type of soil amendment fertilizer, as you see here, from compost to ammonium phosphate to a chemical fertilizer to poultry byproducts to even a coated slow release chemical fertilizer, and then a blend of their composted mix along with the Biosol. And what they discovered out of this is that the Biosol was the slowest releasing, longest lasting nutrient. And in many cases, we know that compost doesn't give back nutrients into the soils for many years. In some cases, our ammonium phosphate is released as soon as it's been bagged, and as soon as it's been exposed to atmospheric pressure. So again, this has been studied and tried. So some of our projects range from erosion control projects to roadside revegetation to mine reclamation in all sorts of capacities. Really, when soils have been depleted and heavily disturbed, and that microbial life has been destroyed, is where we've been used. These are all one application photos. We don't really ever incur multiple applications. So we can see from the extreme to the landscaping and even flower beds and gardens to tree fertilizations. Well, recently, the post-fire reclamation and the outbreak of the fires, and unfortunately, the events that we see occurring more and more and more around the country, is these fires. And we've been used in fire reclamation, even to the point where the Bureau of Land Management said after 1 year, they had over 70% of their seed had germinated and had over 70% herbaceous cover. And recently, we just won our car fire recovery project was awarded as the 2020 Project of the Year award. And in this photo, you see the treated and the non-treated areas. Our Menefee Humate is our natural soil conditioner that stimulates microbial activity, improves the plant's ability to take in vital nutrients, enhancing plant growth and root cell development. Humates can be hard to explain. In general, they are highly biodegraded, fermented, and there's that fermented word again, and compressed remains of plant material and animal material. They usually contain large quantities of trace minerals, and they typically also contain essential humic and fulvic acids for plant growth, mimicking the active part of soil humus, the most stable part of soil. Humic acids and fulvic acids are both essential for plant health. Using one without the other shortchanges the full spectrum of benefits that the two acids provide for soils and for plants. Generally divided into three different groups. Our humic acid stimulates that microbial activity in soil, increasing water retention, stimulating root and shoot growth. Think of this as the humic acids as being the roads and bridges and tunnels that allow the essential exchange between plants and soil, while the fulvic acids are a carbon-containing chelating compound. Think of them as the rail cars that carry vital nutrients from soil into the plant. And lastly, the least amount of these, but not to be forgotten, is a human, which is a natural organic polymer. Again, retaining more moisture. So we typically see humic acids in two forms, in a liquid form, or in our case, we have a water-soluble powder. We also see it in a granular form. It's important to know anything that is converted into liquid or is a liquid is only going to be effective for 30 to 45 days. Where a granular product, like our granular humate, which does not break down in water, those nutrients are going to be available for over 145 days. That's going to take microbes to break it down. Our water-soluble powder products are GrowPlex SP, which stands for soluble powders, is a humic acid with some fulvic acid in it as well. Our CMate, Fe6812, is a water-soluble powder, which acts like a starter fertilizer, and it's got about 3% iron in it. Again, this is an area where we can help things grow quicker, depending upon the applications. And we're not shipping water, we're actually shipping powder. And this looks like, you would think of like looking at black flour. That's what it looks like. So how do humates work? Well, humates have a negative charge, which will hold on to water and nitrogen. That negative charge, though, really breaks up the clay soil platelets and stands them up on end to end. So think about those magnets as a kid. When we used to see them, they would connect together. Yet you add a negative charge onto those, and you see them stand up end to end. And that's where we see roots penetrating and water diving deeper into the soils, and so that roots can expand larger into the soil profile. Humate also creates that gentle acid that unlocks bound up nutrients such as iron and calcium. So we're able to repair and condition soil over time. Here's a trial in Florida with the CMate, and this is a 2-week separation in these photos. So again, what do humates do? They increase water holding capacity from that human content. They break up that unproductive clay soils, which is due to that negative charge. The other thing that does is when we are handling sites with high salt levels, that also opening up those unproductive clay soils and soil porosity allows those salts to leach down easier and to be flushed out. It buffers toxins in the salts in the soil and enhances plant uptake of fertilizers and minerals. Again, all these products are animal friendly, pet friendly, human friendly. Our mycorrhiza is the below ground connection from plant roots to soil. The mycorrhizae are going to enhance and enlarge the plant rooting system to help plants be more environmentally efficient and have better plant health. There's a beneficial relationship between the fungi and roots. Mycorrhizae are naturally occurring, so if we have plant growth, such as in a lawn, there's no need to really add additional mycorrhizae unless you're dealing with a disease. So what's the real benefit? What's mycorrhizae get out of this? Well, in return, the host plant feeds the mycorrhizal fungi with sugars produced from the photosynthesis, while that mycorrhiza is returning nutrients and water back to the plant. It's really that below ground connection. Mycorrhizal fungi and mycorrhizal hyphae are much smaller root hairs and thus able to explore greater volumes of soil. Think of the hair on your arms and legs as being that root hair or that mycorrhizal hyphae, able to dive into much smaller soil particles. It produces powerful enzymes into the soil that unlock hard to capture nutrients. Very similar, but differently than how humate does it. It builds a natural microbial system. which greatly enhances plant growth and yields. It forms an intricate web that captures nutrients, reduces the use of fertilizers, but increases plant quality and plant health. So what's this look like up close? Again, we know that these are small, small, small. This is a photo of it up close. And if we take a look at this, and you can see these little tubes, each of these hyphae are basically a hollow tube. Think of it as a garden hose, exchanging nutrients and water back to that plant. When we sell mycorrhiza, you'll see it sold as spores or propagules. And our material, our myco-apply material comes in the propagule form. A spore is a little ball, as you see here on the left-hand side of the screen. Now, why we sell propagules is because these propagules here on the right-hand side of the screen, as you can see, contain many spores of mycorrhiza in them. So in essence, you're getting many more spores when you're getting a propagule count than as if you were to just get a straight propagule or a straight spore count. Now, there's two types of mycorrhiza. There's endomycorrhiza, which is used predominantly in grasses, flowers, trees, and legumes. And ectomycorrhiza really only has a relationship with your conifers, pines, and there are a few plants that use both. But these, again, go out and get nutrient retrieval and carbon retrieval. And if you look at this plant here in the screen, you see these clusters of white. That's the mycorrhiza that is a little bit more in abundance and thriving. And you ask, why was that thriving just there instead of everywhere? Well, it's found a nutrient source. In this soil profile, there were some pine needles and other yummy, yummy, yummy food sources that it was found and decided to attack. So what better way to get after it than that mycorrhizal hyphae starts going crazy? Why is this important? Well, there's a lot of soil nutrients that aren't mobile in soils, and phosphorus being one of those. And so on a typical plant root, without mycorrhiza, they can't get out into the expounding area around the root to retrieve nutrients, where the mycorrhiza is going to reach out and retrieve more nutrients in the surrounding area. So this is why the myco-apply product that we sell is a multiple species mycorrhiza, because they've taken 4 species, different species of the mycorrhiza. Some are more efficient at water retrieval, some are more efficient at nutrient retrieval, some are more efficient at environmental stress or disease suppression. So it's elemental and key when we're re-vegging sites to use a multiple species mycorrhiza. I don't know of any projects, in fact, in 20 years, there's only one project I've ever been involved in where they seeded 1 species of a plant. Most cases, even in a lawn, a turf mix has got 4 to 5 to maybe even up to 8 different species of turf seed in their mix. Then yet in the construction industry, when we destroy soils, when we disturb the top 5 to 9 inches of soil, we're destroying 75 to 97% of the mycorrhizal life. So as you see here, when we do that construction project, and this is where we do see mycorrhiza being most effective and really it's enhanced, is on those sites where we've disturbed those top 5 to 9 inches of soil. So which plants benefit from mycorrhizal inoculation? Well, over 95% of the plants do. There are some common plants that do not respond to mycorrhiza, azaleas, beets, but most importantly on this slide is most weed species do not have a mycorrhizal relationship. So therefore, with our Biosol, which is slow releasing, and the mycorrhiza, which don't have that relationship, we're deterring weed growth on our project sites. Yet we're increasing rooting and root mass, as you see here with the different photos from the mycorrhiza trials. Again, we do know that they will eventually cross-pollinate. So here's a pine that was with and without, but you're starting to see the mycorrhizae move over to start affecting the non-mycorrhizal treated plant. And here's a turf site. And it's interesting to see, you get in combination a better system and better growth when using a fertilizer with a mycorrhiza, and ideally an organic fertilizer. Drought stress and drought tolerance. There's a newly seeded fescue treated with a microapply mycorrhiza. So soil life is really the key to this. We've got to build soil health and soil life. Rather than just feeding a plant, we've got to feed that soil life, which in turn is going to feed the plant. That's really the key for getting this to work, to be in a better situation. Here's a project with our Biosol, Humate, and Mycorrhizae used. And here's another severely, this was a site that was heavily disturbed. It was a National Guard airport project up in Wyoming. And all our materials were broadcasted out and then covered with a turf reinforcement mat. This was a non-irrigated situation. This is in Wyoming. But that's the effects of it 1 year later. The Perm Matrix product is our biotic soil amendment. It is basically the living component of soil. It's the active living component. It's a spray-on application that can replace the practice of adding and ripping in compost. It's key to increase that soil structure on site, which is going to in turn help germinate or generate faster germination and speed up and simplify application methods. Because instead of ripping in compost, we can simply spray an active living component of soil onto a project and treat it. This is a park in Portland. They didn't want to have to bring in a truckload of compost just to treat this small little park. So instead of bringing in a truckload, they were able to apply 2 tons of our Perm Matrix, applied with seed and a tackifier all in one application. Now this contractor is getting paid to do 2 jobs in one application. Our StarTac, produced by Chemstar, has 2 different products, our StarTac 100 and 600. They're both starch-based tackifiers and can be used for dust control. Our StarTac 100 is a corn-based starch. It's an alternative to Plantago for hydroseeding as a tackifier, for hay straw tackifying, economical, price stable, and is used for short-term stabilization. While our StarTac 600 is a potato starch, it's a guar alternative. It's a tackifier used for temporary soil and slope stabilization. It's got some viscosity to it, but we need to remember viscosity does not equal higher bonding. In fact, a lot of these starch-based products are also used in the construction industry as far as glues and things like that. And again, it's price stable. So, not wanting to overwhelm you in this short little video of our products, but want to let you know is if you feel overwhelmed, we are available to discuss and value engineer any of your revegetation projects or sites with soil problems. So thank you for visiting our booth and watching this video. Please visit wefixdirt.com for more product information, research, and case studies. Our parent company, Bowman Construction Supply and ASP, also provide a full complement of landscaping and construction supply materials for your projects. So thank you, and I look forward to hearing from any of you, or call me with any questions or email me with any questions. Thank you, and hope you have a great day.